2, 1.
Hello, everyone. This is real estate coach Craig Proctor, and welcome to the Craig Proctor Real Estate Show. Today is one of my favorite members from Colorado. It's Barb Schlinker. Barb, thank you so much for being here today. I know you've got some exciting stuff to share with us, but give us a little background on you, and just in case there's someone here that doesn't know about how we've been working together for many, many years and all the great things that you're doing.
Well, I was an Air Force person. I'm an Air Force brat, and then I joined the Navy. And then when our son came along, we moved to Colorado, and I stumbled into real estate. And it shocked me how the whole thing was set up. Like, there was no training, there was no standardization. It was just sort of like, go sell, figure it out. That was the way it was structured.
So coming from the military, where there's procedures for everything, and I've heard that from a lot of military people that get into real estate. They're like, hey, everything is scripted out. Here's how we do things, there's procedures. And you get into real estate and they're like, okay, well, just go do it however you want to do it.
Yeah. And the other agents in my office didn't want to help me because I was effectively a competitor. Mm-hmm. So, I just kind of stumbled along my merry way until I found your ad in the NAR magazine, which dates me a little bit. And it said something like, I sold 546 homes in the past year. And it blew my mind. I'm like, how is that possible? It's more than one a day. So I ordered your, I think it was the Quantum Leap package. And I remember going to my very first conference in Orlando. I don't know if you remember, it was like a DoubleTree style hotel. And I'm standing in line, and there was Lester Cox leaning against the wall. He had his coaching badge on. And I said, so do you work with buyers or sellers? And he goes, neither. And I'm like, oh my God. So you get people to contact you and you hand it out to your team, right? Because yeah, pretty much.
So that was kind of an epiphany. Awesome. That was an epiphany for you that the most successful real estate agents were actually not working with buyers and sellers, that they were basically focusing on the business of real estate. And of course, you got very excited after that conference. And it's, once you have this vision, I always say to agents, once you see this, you can't unsee it. And once you hear it, you can't unhear it. What does your business look like today from, those humble beginnings of trying to figure it all out? You're one of the most successful realtors in the state of Colorado. What does it look like today? Like if I was like, hey, Barb, what do you do? And I wasn't really familiar with how your operation works, how would you explain it?
So I have a team. I have 7 agents. I have 1 ISA. I have 4 assistants that work for me full-time in the Philippines, and another 4 that work for me full-time here in the Colorado Springs area. And they make it easy for me. So I'm still in sales, I think, because I love it. I have that personality in me that I like to be with people. So I still do a lot, but not all of the sales. And we've systemized the process so that basically I'm just the talent. And one of the things that you taught us about direct response marketing and how you put marketing out there and get people to contact you has been absolutely by far the most successful thing that I've done in my business. And I've done it on different platforms. I've done it on websites. I've done it via print. I've done it. My most successful one right now is on radio. In fact, I have a radio show that airs every Saturday. This is very inexpensive to do. It's a 1-hour show. It's on 4 different stations, and it creates sellers calling me day after day, come sell my house.
Well, that's the key right there. So let's focus on that. The biggest battle that realtors fight is obscurity. Mm-hmm. There's, I'm sure many realtors watching this feel that, I'm a good agent. I work hard. I'm honest. I'm a great negotiator. Yeah. So, you feel like I feel qualified. I have the skills. I know I can do a good job for buyers and sellers, and you do a good job for buyers and sellers. But the challenge is that you just don't have enough of them. And that's really when you started in real estate, Barb, you did the normal things that we all do when we get into real estate. You looked around at what all the agents were doing. You worked your sphere of influence and did open houses, and I'm sure all the normal stuff. Your message,
well.
yeah. Well, and it's we know that most agents struggle, and in fact, the great majority of agents get out of the business within 5 years. So,
Yes.
many are called, but few are chosen. You mentioned direct response marketing and how that entirely changed the way you look at your business and created really this tremendous overflow of clients, buyers and sellers contacting you, where you got to the point where you actually couldn't work with all the buyers and sellers.
That's true.
That's a pretty big change from, not having enough business to, holy cow, I have so much of it, I don't know what to do with it. Explain what that message was. Like, what were you, like, you weren't saying, Barb's a good agent, or, Barb's been in real estate for X amount of years, or list your home with Barb. It wasn't that type of marketing. Explain what was unique about this approach.
Well, I mean, you basically present different things that make it a compelling reason for people to contact you. Most of my business is from people that I've never met before. And that was my problem when I first started, was that I came here really not knowing very many people except for a few family members. I didn't have a big sphere of influence to work with. So I had to really start from scratch. And so you've taught us how to do this direct response marketing with some of your amazing programs. I think I started out, I love doing the distress sale ad, free list of homes, that are distress sales, bank foreclosures, that sort of thing. That really got me started when I first got into the Craig Proctor system. And then it morphed into doing different ads where you kind of fly under the radar, what you teach us about offering a free report of something that's very compelling. And I still use those to this day. I just use them on a different platform. I use them on a radio show. I talk about them on my YouTube channel. And every single one of those has a call to action to get people to raise their hand to find out more, or to ask us to help them buy or sell a home.
Okay, really good gold nuggets there. So I want everyone to understand, it's not just that Barb is on the radio, because, there may be realtors saying, well, I've tried that. I've tried the radio, or I've tried, my TV channels, my YouTube channel, so to speak. Right. I have a lot of realtors, Barb, that come to me, and they're frustrated because, they've tried running ads on Facebook. Okay. They've tried YouTube. They have tried print. Everything they've tried hasn't really got them results. So they see marketing as more or less an expense, or something that I need to do, but I really don't want to do, because the message is not right.
Right.
So I want everyone to understand that everyone could hypothetically in your marketplace know you, but that doesn't necessarily mean they're going to contact you. And here's the proof of that. I think everybody watching this probably has friends, relatives, people that you know quite well, who, when it came time to buy or sell, they didn't use your services. And that's a bit of a head scratcher, right? Because, what we believe is, well, if people knew who I was and they know I'm a real estate agent, they're going to call me. So that tells us that marketing has to be more than just creating an awareness. So that's why, image-based advertising, well, it's important on one hand that, of course, nobody could call you if they don't know who you are. Right. On the other hand, the marketing that we teach and that Barb runs, okay, is more than just, hey, Barb's a real estate agent. Barb is using an educational platform here where she's helping buyers and sellers, educating them, giving them really, really good information. And she's also making unique guarantees and offers, basically offering things that other agents don't offer. So in her marketplace in Colorado Springs, everybody knows who Barb is, but they also understand what makes her different and what makes her better. And that's what gets the phone to ring. So I don't know if I describe that the way you would describe it, Barb, but watching how you've evolved, you got to this point where, gee, I can't do this by myself. Now, how did you handle that in the beginning when you started when you were sort of overwhelmed with all this new business. Of course, we all begin by trying to do it ourselves anyway, right?
Yeah, and it happened in different phases, like when the whole IDX and internet leads started happening. Those were pretty good, but you had to call hundreds of leads to get one appointment, and it was exhausting. So it worked for a while, but now everybody's doing it. It's not working, and Zillow's doing it. Realtor.com is doing it. It's not working. So you have to present something unique and compelling to make people want to raise their hands. The other thing that really changed, probably more significantly in the last 5 years, is that I can market on the radio, or I can market in print, or whatever. But then they're going to Google. They all tell me when I meet with them, I checked you out on Google. So you have to be there too. And part of what your systems teach us is how to win online as well. And it's spectacular.
You know, you make a good point. For those watching, you know this is true. If you're buying leads from Zillow or Realtor, or you're out knocking on hundreds of doors, it's very difficult to reach people. I don't want to say, you know, talking absolutes that people aren't answering the phone, but it's kind of true, right? Buyers and sellers are not answering the phone. Let me know in the comments below, if you made 100 phone calls to Zillow leads or Realtor leads, honestly, out of 100 prospects, how many prospects would you actually speak to and have a meaningful conversation? Like, it's pretty depressing. And this is why a lot of real estate agents do get depressed. They're like, oh my God, what they're teaching me to do, cold calling, door knocking, sitting in open houses, chasing for sale by owners, expired listings, calling hundreds and making hundreds and hundreds of phone calls. I want everyone to understand there is a better approach here. See, here's what Barb is doing. Barb is getting buyers and sellers interested in her to the degree that they call her. So if we agree, it's getting way more difficult to get the buyers and sellers to pick up the phone, then we need to reverse this. And this is exactly what we teach. So like 1,000% of Barb's business are buyers and sellers in Colorado that contact her. Now, why would they contact her? And let's think about everyone watching this. Why would buyers and sellers in your marketplace contact you? So that's the big question. We call this a unique selling proposition. It's the most important question any buyer or seller is ever going to ask you, which is, why should I choose to do business with you versus all other options? So Barb is educating them. She's offering them unique guarantees and unique services that no other real estate agent in her marketplace is offering. And it causes buyers and sellers to contact Barb. So in the beginning, Barb's trying to do this by herself. You know, I'm going to go out to work with all the buyers. I'm going to work with all the sellers, which she still does today. But let's talk about the team now. So the marketing was the first, that's the first nut you got to crack, right? Like, it's funny, Barb, I'll hear agents saying, well, you know, if I want to be successful like Barb, what I need to do is I need to run out and I need to hire a bunch of people. No, you don't hire the people first. You hire the people after the marketing. You figure out the marketing first. You create a massive overflow of business. Then you hire people. Just hiring people isn't going to make you successful. It'd be like if it'd be like if Barb and I owned a retail store and nobody was coming into our retail store. It'd be like Barb and I saying, gee, you know, there's nobody really coming into our store. Hey, I got it, Barb. Maybe we need to hire more people. And literally, it'd be Barb and I and a couple more people all standing around with nothing to do. So let's switch gears and talk about, if I'm a real estate agent and I'm in your marketplace, why would I want to come and work with you? Like, aren't I giving up my independence? Aren't I, I want to stay at Remax or Keller Williams. Like, why would I got into real estate for my freedom. What would be in it for me to come and partner up with you, Barb?
Well, it means that they're going to make more money, first of all, because it's not like they lose their identity. It's just that they become a part of the team and we hand them ready to act buyers and sellers. Right now in our area, 74% of the real estate agents sell 3 or less homes a year, and 25% of those don't sell any. You can make more money at McDonald's for what most of the agents
It's
are
true.
doing right now.
It's insanity. Okay, so let me flip around and ask you this. Would a real estate agent, the average real estate agent in your marketplace, would they net more money in their pocket at the end of the year and work less hours and have a better life in real estate if they were to partner up with you versus doing what they're doing?
Absolutely. They net less money. We're handing them ready to act buyers and sellers. You've created a spectacular training program that walks them through what they're supposed to do and what they're not supposed to do to get these clients to the finish line. That was another thing that I never got when I started. I just kind of wung it and tried to figure it out. But most of the brokerages really don't train agents how to do things that the public thinks that they know how to do. Things like marketing, negotiating, handling objections, and closing. Those skills are not taught at the typical brokerage. And we do that and help them get to the finish line. We help them create lifetime customers out of those clients. And people will call you again and again. It's happening to people on my teams right now that they sold a home 3 years ago. They're doing another one this year, and they're making 6 figures, and they don't have to spend any money on marketing.
So first of all, tell us about the marketplace that you serve. What area, if I was buying or selling a home, what area would I need to be in to be fortunate enough to have you take care of it?
Most of our business is in the Colorado Springs area, which involves 3 or 4 counties. We're kind of just south of Denver. So we could step into the county just north of us. But if it goes up into Denver, we're referring it out to other Craig Proctor team members up there, just because I don't know that market that well. Right. But it's probably about, I don't know, maybe 750,000 population. The average price is right around 500,000. And there aren't enough sales for the amount of agents. There's 5,000 agents.
So why don't some of these agents, like what prevents them, you think, from at least speaking to you to find out about this better opportunity? What do you think it is? If it's true, and I know it's true, and you know it's true, that realtors in Colorado Springs, if they could just set aside whatever preconceived notions they have, and they had a conversation with you, they would understand that basically this is a business within your business, that they're not losing their identity, that they would make way more money net in their pocket.
Right.
And they choose their hours, and they would literally just be going from listing appointment to buyer appointment. Yeah. They wouldn't be getting keys cut. They wouldn't be making feature sheets. They wouldn't be sticking signs on properties. They wouldn't have to pay for any marketing. They wouldn't have to make hundreds of calls to get an appointment. They would have actual appointments on their daytime. Now, if you're in Colorado Springs, okay, and you're watching this right now, you don't need to call Craig Proctor. Okay, everything that you want to do in real estate is being done by Barb. Now, I know Barb's one of the top agents, and sometimes, it's competitive, and you're thinking, well, what is it about Barb? She's the competitor. Why not give her a call? Why not check it out? What would you say to somebody that was interested right now? What would be the best way to reach you?
You can just give us a call at our office. Go to my website, barbhasthebuyers.com. Our phone number's all over it. Upper left-hand corner or right-hand corner, if you're facing it, is join our team. And you want to give us your information, and we'd love to sit down and talk with you and show you what we have to share, which is basically we want team members to be able to grow their business and handle the overflow of clients that we have. And you're going to get hands-on training. It's not like we're just going to hang your license like most brokers do and send you out there to go figure it out. No. You're going to be very well trained and very well prepared to make top dollar.
The coaching is a big part of it. Not only understand this, for agents that work with Barb, she's not giving you leads, because you would say, well, I can get leads myself. I can buy them from Zillow or Realtor. These are actual appointments. Okay. So these are calls that come into Barb's team. Barb has a team layer of inside sales agents that call and qualify the leads. So these are actual listing appointments and buyer appointments, but you're actually given the listing presentation. You're given the buyer presentation, and you're highly coached and trained on what to do and what to say. Now, what's in it for Barb to spend so much time training you and coaching you, obviously, is the more money you make, the more money Barb makes, because there is a split there. But you would actually net more money in your pocket than what you're grossing right now. Does everyone understand what I'm saying? I think you've heard me talk about this before, Barb, but one of the agents I recruited for my team, who ended up being one of my top agents, was working at Remax, and he was making about $100,000 a year. That's what he told me. But I said, is that what you make, or is that what you gross? And he admitted, well, I gross 100. I said, well, what do you actually net after you pay all your expenses, your marketing, your advertising? I think he had a part-time assistant. He admitted he netted about $60,000. And he was working about 70 hours a week.
Right.
And he just had a divorce with his wife, and he didn't have time really for anything in his life other than, grossing 100, netting 60,000, and he was on this treadmill. So on one hand, he knew there had to be a better approach, but he couldn't stop doing what he was doing because he was making a living. So he'd been doing that a long time. And for him to believe and accept that there was a better way to do this was difficult. So I set up a meeting with him. And of course, a couple hours before the meeting, he calls and he cancels the meeting. He says, I've given this some thought, and I think I'm just going to stay where I am. So I said to him, you're that closed-minded that, you wouldn't be open to just having a conversation about this. So that kind of challenged him. And he finally got together with me. Well, that next year, he made $250,000 in his pocket for him. Okay, within 1 year of working with me. Now, here's a guy that was in real estate for 12 years. He never made more than $100,000 in gross. He never netted more than $60,000. He'd given up his whole life to real estate. His marriage was over. It was very difficult for him. And within a year, he was making, 4 times in his pocket what he'd been making for years and years. Well, he continued to go on. He made $300,000 the next year and $350,000, and he continued to be very, very successful, but happy as well, because he could work less than 40 hours a week, make a really good income. This is why all of this, and this is probably why you're watching this, obviously, is all of you watching this are here for a reason. You don't have to believe me. You can believe Barb and the thousands of other Barbs that are working with me. And I say with me because we're on a mission here. You'll notice the backdrop behind Barb. It says your home sold guaranteed realty. You might be thinking, what is that about? This is Barb's company. Okay. Barb's company has a benefit right in the name that pretty much tells sellers what this is all about, rather than like a Remax or a KW or EXP. Like, what's that mean? Your home sold guaranteed realty is what the seller wants, right? They want to get their home sold. We actually guarantee that we'll sell it or we'll buy it ourselves. It's an upfront guarantee. It's in writing. So it's a very unique approach to real estate. It's something that sellers want. Now, if you're watching this right now, you might have, again, one of those preconceived notions about this. Well, I don't like that approach, or I'm skeptical about this. It doesn't really matter what we think. What matters is what buyers and sellers think. So you go ahead to Google right now. We all agree that that's how people find things today, whether it's a nice restaurant you might want to go to tonight, or it's a product or service. The very first thing you're going to do is you're going to go to Google, right? Let's agree that that's how we're going to do it. Well, go to Google today. You type in Remax, you type in Keller Williams, you type in any real estate company, but then type in your home sold. And you take a look at the search results and you tell me, what do you think is a good name? So the marketing end of it, we've got this figured out. The team and the training and the coaching, we've got this figured out too. All you have to do is contact Barb and say, you know what? I'd like to have a conversation. What would be the downside of having a conversation? I mean, that's really where all good things start, honestly, right? Is a conversation. Like, however you're watching this right now, you found me. Think about this. Maybe you found this for a reason. Now, I know you'll believe what Barb has to say way more than what I have to say. You might think, well, Craig's got a horse in this race, but I really don't. I sold over 10,000 homes. I was #1 in the world for Remax. there's nothing that you could give me or do for me that's really going to change my life. The reason I do this is, number one, it's fun. And I love to see the growth in our members. I love to see what Barb's doing, not only in her business, but in her life. And Barb has changed the life, not only her own life, but all the people that work for her team, her vendors, the thousands of buyers and sellers in Colorado Springs that she's worked with. So if you really think of the impact that we have as real estate agents, it's a pretty cool business we're in, right? We're actually selling things that people want to buy, right? We're not selling life insurance. We're not selling funeral plots. We're selling real estate. Barb, let's talk next. Okay, so we've talked about marketing, and we've talked about your team and why the team structure is obviously very good for you, but very good for everyone on the team. Let's talk about what you're doing on YouTube, because this is a wonderful opportunity to use the Craig Proctor approach, which is educational-based marketing, and basically have your own television station on YouTube. And I remember, Barb, when you started doing this, you were like, yeah, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to figure it out. And you did. You spent a lot of time figuring out, and you got better and better and better and better. Now, I know a lot of you are watching thinking, well, maybe that's something Barb can do, but I can't do it. Because, we're all a little bit self-conscious. Like, I don't like the way I shouldn't say we're all self-conscious. Many realtors don't do what we're about to describe. They stop themselves because they're like, well, I don't like how I look on camera. I don't like how I sound on camera, or I don't know what to say. So I want to handle all that. And then Barb's going to share what she's doing on YouTube. So don't go anywhere, because this is like the best part of it. We're getting into it because we're actually going to show you how this works. Okay, so let's handle the I don't like how I look, or I don't like how I sound. You do realize, realtors, that when you show up at their house, they get to see you, right? Right? They get to see you. That's how you look, and that's how you sound. So you're just doing the presentation to many on video. Okay, now I want you to think about this. We've been trained for years and years in real estate that we're supposed to call hundreds and hundreds of people to try to get 3 or 4 people on the phone. Well, why are you doing that? Well, I'm getting them on the phone so I can try to meet with them, so I can tell them how good I am. Why don't we just do what Barb's doing? Why don't you just get onto YouTube and tell people why they should be working with you? That's called a presentation. So right now, I'm making a presentation to all of you, right? Craig Proctor's office, we're not calling you to try to make an appointment at your kitchen table to tell you what Craig Proctor is all about. No, this presentation that Barb and I are doing will eventually be seen by thousands of real estate agents. So this is what Barb is doing. Barb's thinking, what would Colorado Springs buyers and sellers be interested in? How can I be that conduit? How can I share with buyers and sellers information that they'd be really, really interested in, so they see me as somebody that's interesting? What unique offers can I make so they see me as different and better? And eventually, not only do buyers and sellers in Colorado Springs understand who Barb is, but most importantly, they understand what makes her different and better. And they call her and they say, hey, Barb, could you come list my house? So we got to get over a few obstacles here. Number one, look, if you don't like how you look, or you don't like how you sound, you got to get over that. And this is how Barb got over it, by doing it a lot. Right, Barb, let's talk about that. In the beginning, right? And
I was shy in the beginning, but I think what helped me the most is I just decided that people want information. They're very hungry for information. They don't buy and sell homes every day. And so I just decided to think about, take the knowledge that I have and the experience that I have, and give them what I have on video, and not even think about me. And those usually are the best ones.
Okay, boom. That's the key right there. Now, I want everyone to understand, Barb is one of the pioneers. She was one of the first realtors to take to YouTube. I know we got a lot of Johnny-come-latelys here that, they think, well, I'm going to use YouTube to show off my brand new car or whatever. Look, we got to do this the right way. Okay, this is not about bragging about what you have or anything like this. This is about actually helping people. And do you hear what Barb just said? In the beginning, I was a little bit nervous, but when I started to really just 1,000% focus on helping buyers and sellers and being a conduit to good information, I stopped thinking about me. That's the key. Just think about them. Now, here's the other thing is, we have realtors say, I don't know what to say. Well, hang on a minute, folks. You're a real estate agent. Don't you think you know more about the topic of buying and selling real estate than the prospects? What are we nervous about here? What do you mean you don't know what to talk about? How about this? What are the most common questions that buyers and sellers ask you? Let's rattle off a few of them, right? And Barb's done this. Barb's like, okay, what things do you need to know before you hire a real estate agent? How would I buy another home if I already own a house? How do I get the best financing? What are the biggest mistakes that Colorado Spring home sellers make and how to avoid them, right? There's all this great information that here's a quick one. How many of you watching this feel that if a seller was to let you into their house, that you probably could look around that house and give the seller some really inexpensive things that they could do that wouldn't cost much money, maybe wouldn't cost any money, that would change the outcome? Okay, how many of you believe that you could give them inexpensive tips on how to prepare their home for sale, and maybe because of that advice, they could sell their home for $7,000 or $10,000 more? So what would that be? I don't know, maybe neutralize the color of the home, change the carpet, a little bit of landscaping, stage. So we know this information. Here's what I want you to do. Stop being a secret agent. This is all that Barb did. And Barb did it, and she became consistent, and she got better and better and better at it. So we're going to show you how she structures this. We're going to explain YouTube. Now, we got a lot of slides here. We're going to go through this quickly. But let us know in the comments if what we're about to show you makes sense to you. Let us know in the comments. Say, hey, you know what? This was really helpful. We'd love to hear from you. So we're going to have Faith share some PowerPoint slides. And by the way, if you want to contact me, I'll give you my email address. It's really easy. It's craig@craigproctor.com. Okay, that's as easy as it gets, craig@craigproctor.com. And if you want to book a free call with my team and I, you go to proctorcall.com. So Proctor Call, all one word, proctorcall.com. You can go to my Acuity Day Timer. It's a free appointment. We're not going to sell you anything. We'll talk to you about your business, ask you a few questions about where you're at and where you want to go. And we would give you for free our advice on what you should do. You'll either like our advice and say, hey, this was really helpful, and maybe I'd like to get information on Craig helping me, or you might say it's not for me. Either way is fine. Okay, so we're going to have Faith share some slides, and we're going to get right into how to do this on YouTube. And Faith, hopefully, is still there. And here we go. All right, I've done a lot of the talking here, Barb, so I'm going to hand it over to you and let you do the talking now.
Okay. So just in the beginning, I kind of summarized about me, which I've already talked about. If you want to go to the next slide, Faith. Basically, I'm in Colorado Springs. Last year, 2.1 million gross commission income. I had a really good net income as well. Have a great team. And I focus on marketing. That's what I love to do. I actually love doing that. If you would go to the next slide, talk a little bit about me. I have the radio show that's actually on 4 local radio stations, 2 in Denver and 2 in Colorado Springs. Plus, all of my recordings that I'm doing for the radio show are also put up on YouTube. So we kind of do that. Happened because of COVID. We duplicate that. And then I'm advertising on the radio on 7 different stations using the wonderful direct response marketing that Craig teaches us. And the result is people call me all the time or reach out to our website all the time and ask us. So my big ones, of course, are YouTube marketing and my YouTube channel. So I actually lost a YouTube channel last year. I don't know if you know that, Craig, but I got hacked by some Bitcoin scammers. I didn't have that 2-factor authentication. So they hacked into the channel, and we fixed it right away. But Google just flushed that channel. I had over 800-900 videos gone. So I had to start over. So that's a word of caution. Be very careful with your security. But it didn't stop me. I just kept doing more and kept getting better at it. Go to the next one. So what our goal is to create a bunch of different videos. Some of the videos get shared out with the virtual team on different social media platforms and drive them back to my website, which Google likes that, or to the YouTube channel to learn more. So one of the things that recently happened, go to the next slide, is that YouTube decided they wanted to take over from TikTok. So they started YouTube Shorts, which are those short little vertical videos that you see if you go to the next slide. They're about 35 to 40 seconds. It's just storytelling. It's not really direct response marketing, but it goes back to the channel and gives them more information. So Google is sending these shorts out for free. So some of the ones I've done recently, I started telling stories, different kinds of real estate stories, like in the state of Colorado. There's no license to be an inspector. And there's just so many crazy things that happen. The mold wand and the pulling toilets to check the sewer line, just crazy stuff. So I created a whole series that I call Inspector Gadget series. And then I also created some other, one of the things that you taught us, Craig, is that people, before they call you, they're going to go check you out online. They're going to decide whether or not they're going to call you first based on what you have online. So he goes, why don't you just put your listing presentation online? So that's what I did. I created a series of different videos that are in the listing presentation that are shorter, that give the consumer some information about what we offer. We also created this playlist, which is the steps to selling a house. And each one of these has a video behind it about the different phases of selling a house. The people that love all the high detail, they want a system. So we just put together a video system. And then this side is on my YouTube, on the homepage. It basically, I advertise a lot because it's easy to remember. Barb has the buyers. So I'm known more than Barb Schlinker. I'm known more for Barb has the buyers in town. So I just put on the middle of the website, click here to find my buyer. And then I have a video about it. And this is a piece of the listing presentation. And so we just did different kinds of playlists. If you want to go back down to the next one, that's the website page that has all the free reports that we're offering, a series on how to buy a house and how to sell a house. And then on the next page, this is what we're just starting right now, is doing video ads either on YouTube or on Google with direct response marketing built into it. So this particular one is how to sell a house for the most money. We did 4 different versions of it. And so we're testing it right now. And at the end of this video, it offers a free report that they could download. And that way we get the lead. And so that's just a really quick summary of what we've done in the past 2 months. I think I put out, it was hundreds of videos.
Okay. So many gems in there. Did everyone hear what Barb said? I want to make sure everyone really gets this. We talked about this a little earlier, that we've been brought up that we have to call hundreds of people to try to get an appointment so we can show them how good we are. What if you did this? What if you did a presentation talking about how good you are to get people to call you? Instead of meeting with them to tell them how good you are, what if you were on YouTube, okay, or Facebook, and you do a presentation that demonstrates how good you are so people call you? Do you see how that's a flip opposite? We used to think we had to meet with them to show the buyers and sellers how good we are. What we're doing is we're showing them how good we are so they call us. It's the flip opposite. Okay, you don't need to call them. They will call you once you start pushing your marketing out to them. And you're going to see all of our top members doing this. They understand how to use video to make these presentations so that buyers and sellers are not only know who you are, but they're actually calling you saying, come and get me, come and list my house. Now, that doesn't mean that you're not in competition. Sometimes Barb is, but in many cases she's not. The
Right.
seller is actually pre-sold and wants to work with Barb and only with Barb. And this will help you get more clients, but it'll also help you negotiate a higher fee when you're basically selling in a vacuum. Now, I know there's going to be questions about this, and we do encourage you to contact either Barb or myself. So Barb, what would be the best way? First of all, if I'm a realtor in Colorado Springs, I've heard of you, I might know you, I might see you like as the competitor, right? But
Yeah.
talk about how I would have a conversation with you. What would be the best way to reach out to you?
Probably the best way, we have a lot of different phone numbers that we use for tracking and marketing, but if you go to barbhasthebuyers.com, in the upper right-hand corner, there's a link that has join Barb's team. There's some videos there about what we offer. You can register. I will get an email and notification, and then we'll follow up and set a time. Usually I like to meet with agents on Friday and kind of show them what we have. And if they're interested, we go the next step.
Understand, Barb is not looking for like anybody. She's not going to like talk you into coming and working with her, because she would need to feel in her heart that this was going to work for both you and her.
Mm-hmm.
What makes this different is, we talked earlier about how, every broker wants you to come and work with them. And there's always this, promise of they're going to train you. And we know that just really doesn't happen in most cases, right? But with Barb, this is actually going to happen. Barb would spend hours and hours with you every single week, training you and coaching you up on the presentations, on the best practices, the best way to do this. She becomes your mentor. She becomes your selling partner. So again, you don't have to figure this out. You don't have to figure out the marketing. Barb's done it already. She's invested hundreds of thousands of dollars in learning how to be an expert marketer. She has more business coming in than she could possibly handle, and you could benefit from that. Now, this means, you have to have the right personality. You've got to have the right motives, right? Because Barb does a great job for her clients. She wants to make sure that everyone on her team is an extension of her morals, her beliefs, her work ethic. But I would check it out. If I was in Colorado Springs, I would be definitely having a conversation with Barb to find out how this works, how it would work for you. I promise you this, if you were to work with Barb, a couple things that would happen. You would make way more money, you would spend less time working, and you'd be focused 100% on the parts of the job that you like, which is meeting with buyers and sellers. All the administrative stuff would be off your plate. You wouldn't have to spend a penny on advertising. Barb takes care of all that for you. Now, if you're not in Colorado Springs, you're not in Barb's market, but you like this and you would like to do what Barb's doing, which is instead of, having a job as a real estate agent, you would like to, beef up your marketing and advertising, get super busy as a solo agent, and eventually start to grow your own team. We've got the blueprint.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing here that you need to invent. All you need to do is start to hang out with myself and Barb and thousands of other Craig Proctor members. And we should give a call out, Barb, to the other Craig Proctor members, because they have been vital. A vital part of your success is, you're getting to hang out and become really best friends with Craig Proctor members that you've met over the years.
That has been the funnest thing over the years. I have more friends in the Craig Proctor system than anywhere else. And we've known each other for years and years. Everybody's very giving and sharing and helping. And it's amazing when we get together, how often it's just a little tweak, or it's a little addition to whatever we're already doing that will make the difference to grow our business. And we share this stuff with each other all the time. It's really fun.
So for example, Barb and I, and a couple of hundred of our very top members, these are realtors, are making millions of dollars a year. Okay, millions of dollars a year. We're all going to Cancun, Mexico here in a couple of weeks. It happens to be my birthday, and that'll be cool. But we tend to go to nice resorts because sometimes you go away somewhere and you just get into a different environment. We're gonna, of course, have lots of time to go to the beach and nice restaurants, but we're gonna be doing some masterminding. Again, these are all like-minded agents that are selling hundreds and hundreds of houses, making millions and millions of dollars. And here's what Barb and I will know. I mean, I learn every time I go to our events as well. But all it takes is that one idea. It might be a conversation that Barb has at the bar, at the restaurant. It could be, Barb, it could be you're sitting around the pool after the day is done, and then you have this epiphany, or, you know, inside the Craig Proctor world, there's always somebody that's a little bit ahead of you. And that's all that, for those of you watching, that's all you want to find, is find somebody else that's a little further down the path. Okay, none of us know everything, right? None of us know everything. But together, the information that we can exchange, like one idea that you bring back from our training could make you hundreds of thousands of dollars. Just one idea that you implement. Sometimes, also, here's what's happened. Some of you watching this might already have heard this before, but why aren't you doing it? Right? How many of you watching this are like, okay, well, I mean, I've heard this before, but there's a big difference between hearing about something or knowing about something and actually doing it. Let us help you close the gap between what you know and what you do. That's where the coaching and training come into play. It's all laid out. This is a blueprint for your business. All you have to do today is say maybe. We've been at this now for almost an hour. Okay, this interview. We've covered some good stuff. If you're still watching this right now, that tells me you're interested. So reach out to Barb. Barb has the buyers. Okay, barbhasthebuyers.com. It doesn't get any easier than that. And by the way, that's what sellers want, right? Sellers, I don't want to list my house. I want to call Barb. Barb's got the buyers, right? I'm just going to call her. Barbhasthebuyers.com. Okay, call Barb. Have a conversation with her. You can email me, Craig@craigproctor.com, or you can book an actual conversation on my Acuity Daytimer. If you go to proctorcall.com, you'll see my Acuity Daytimer. I'll ask you a bunch of questions about your business. Why don't we just have a conversation? A conversation with Barb or with myself costs you $0. You know, maybe you'll learn something. Maybe you'll like this. Maybe it'll be the beginning of something really, really big. So that's where all good things start, is with a conversation. Barb, I want to thank you so much today, because you have actually donated an hour of your time. Barb doesn't get paid for this. I don't get paid for this. Think of what we just did here. Barb and I just gave you a presentation. Okay, this presentation cost me $0, right? It's on Facebook. It's on YouTube. It's going to be on LinkedIn. It's going to be all, and thousands of realtors will watch this. Why don't you do what Barb and I just did? Why don't we help you create some videos that have massive value to buyers and sellers, so you don't have to call hundreds of them and meet at their kitchen table? By the way, the buyers don't want you to call them. Neither do the sellers.
Yeah.
Your calls are unwanted. If you think that, it went to voicemail, they missed my call. They didn't miss your call. People take their phone, to the washroom, to the restroom. They're not missing your call. They're just not taking your call. Okay. I have a son that's 31 years old. Barb, if I called Brandon, my son right now, I know he's not going to pick up the phone.
No.
Okay. He's 31. Now you might be saying, well, he's a millennial. Hang on a minute. The millennials are now touching 40 years old. Who are you selling to, folks? A big part of who you're selling to, people like my son. So I could call my son right now, and literally, Barb, he would text me while the phone's still ringing. He'd say, what's going on, or what's up, right? So people don't want to answer the phone. Think about this. We're real estate agents. How many of you are real estate agents and you don't like it when your phone rings, right? Or how about this? Maybe you can relate to this. Maybe you're texting back and forth with a friend. Everything's going well. Maybe you're watching TV or you're relaxing and you're texting back and forth with a friend. But then all of a sudden your friend calls you. And you're like, oh, why did they have to call me? I just like communicating by text. So people are getting their information without having to speak to people. They don't want a salesperson calling them. They don't want a salesperson at their kitchen table. That's one thing that COVID taught us. It's like, the whole entire world was programmed, don't meet with people, right? Don't have people but we don't have to today. I'm going to stress this again. We just gave you a really good presentation that costs $0. Now, this presentation, I can take this presentation and I could email this out, right, to any real estate agents in my database. But you, as a realtor, could do the same thing. You could sit down today based on Barb's advice, and you could make a list right now. You could take a blank piece of paper and say, okay, in my marketplace, what is it that buyers and sellers would really like to know about? Or what is it that makes me unique or different? Okay, now don't do a video talking about, if you're a husband and wife, spouses selling houses, or I try hard, or I want your business, or I've been working at this company for 17 years, or I've got the balloon. Don't do that. You need to be focusing on, why should I, as a buyer or seller, choose to do business with you versus all other options? And then educate me, do a presentation. And do you want to know what would happen? If you did what I'm talking about here, and you did this great presentation, you did a bunch of them, and you started sending these video presentations out to your unconverted leads, way more people would see you and understand what you do and what makes you different and better than on the phone making thousands of phone calls. Way more people would see it. It doesn't require you doing any of that work. And what's this cost you? You could go to YouTube right now for $0 and you could record your presentation. You could go to Facebook and you could do a Facebook Live, okay? And you can copy that link and you could copy your YouTube link and you could email it out to all your unconverted leads. Why don't we do this, folks? We want to coach you up on how we do this. People will see you. They'll understand what makes you different and better. You'll be positioned as the authority, right? When Barb started in real estate and I started in real estate, nobody knew who we were. Think about this. Within 3 years of having my real estate license, I go from as dumb as a pile of rocks to the #1 RE/MAX agent in the whole world. How did that happen? Did I get smarter in 3 years? Did I switch marketplaces? Nope. All I did is I understood marketing, real marketing, direct response marketing, not the stuff they teach you in real estate school, not the stuff your broker wants you to do. Come and get coached up with us, okay? Contact Barb, barbhasthebuyers.com. Say it with me, barbhasthebuyers.com. One more time, barbhasthebuyers.com, okay? And this is what is burnt into the minds, the brains of buyers and sellers when they're in Colorado Springs.
Yeah.
Okay, barbhasthebuyers.com, barbhasthebuyers.com, okay? And they understand what makes you different and better. Okay, book a call with me, proctorcall.com. Let's just have a conversation. Please, let's just have a conversation about where you are, what's holding you back. You have dreams, you have things you want to do. Give you an example, Barb. I was talking to a lady recently. I asked her, what kind of business are you doing right now? She says, well, I work about 70 hours a week. I always work 70 hours a week. I've been working 70 hours a week for 10 years. Well, what's your production? Well, I sell about 25 homes a year. And I always sell 25 homes a year. Last year, the year before, 5 years before that, what I do, she said, Craig, causes me to work 70 hours a week and I sell 25 houses a year. Now, the start of every year, she says, I kind of bullshit myself and I say, no, this is going to be the year and I'm going to sell 50. But she says, nope, at the end of the year, here's what I know how to do. I know how to trade 70 hours a week of my life every week. And I know how to get 25 transactions for the year. I said, well, what would you like to do? And she paused for a minute. She says, well, I'd really like to do 50 transactions. Okay, well, let's talk about why that's important. Well, she says, if I could do 50, my husband could retire from the military and we could travel around more, see our kids. My husband could come and work with me and that would help me get to the 50. So then the conversation becomes, okay, we know what you want. Why aren't you doing it? You're telling me your life would be better if you could get to 50, but you do the same stuff every year and you complain about 25 and you want to do 50. So you know you want to go to 50. You're stuck at 25. You know why your life would be better at 50. Why don't we just fix this? What's holding you back? So now the discussion is she's telling me all the reasons why she can't do 50. Folks, this is why you want to book a call with me. Don't you think I've heard all of these self-limiting beliefs as to why you can't do? You know where you are and you know where you want to go. And you also would be very clear on why you can't do it. You have reasons, right? We BS ourselves. So let me help you with, here's how you can do it. Here's how I did it. Here's how Barb did it. See, a lot of these gurus today, they can't tell you how they did it. You know why? They didn't do it. A lot of the coaches are just failed real estate agents, right? It's like, I can't do this. Maybe I'll do this. Some of the biggest name coaches out there, you would be surprised if you did the research, 0 houses sold. They've never even had a real estate license. So be careful who you're getting your advice from. If you want to get rich in real estate, probably a good idea to learn from somebody that actually got rich selling real estate. So we're going to leave it at that, folks. I hope you enjoyed our presentation. It was a presentation today. It cost us $0 to do this. Stop cold calling, stop door knocking, stop chasing people. Learn how to become a marketer, okay? You will change your life. You'll change your family's life, and you'll help a lot of people in your local market, just like Barb has done. Barb, thank you for the last hour. We're exactly at 1 hour, so we're going to wrap it up. Any final thoughts before we do that, Barb?
I think, on the marketing front, don't be afraid, because you are presenting all the time in front of clients. It's just a different platform, and you have to think about all the great skills that you have to give. And you could copy anything I'm doing. It's right there on the YouTube channel. Yeah,
check. That's great advice. Go to social media and just follow Barb.
Yeah.
Okay. Turn on notifications. Whenever she goes live on YouTube, you'll get it. Ring the bell. But do a bit of research. Here's what I want you to do. Google Barb and then Google yourself. Then Google Barb and then Google yourself. And then if you want to hang with us, we'll give you hundreds of other top realtors to Google, and you will learn and you'll see commonalities. You're like, and then, because you guys are smart, right? You're like, oh, I get it. We're just locked into how we're doing it, folks, because that's how you started doing it, right? You got into real estate, and there was a certain, whatever you're doing right now, you didn't invent it. Even if you're knocking on doors or cold calling, you didn't invent door knocking. You didn't invent cold calling or open houses. Somebody else did. So whatever you're doing right now, let's agree, you copied whatever approach you're using from somebody. Why don't you just copy a better model, folks?
Yeah.
It's all right here for you. It's that easy. So we're going to wrap it up. Thank you very much. BarbHasTheBuyers.com. BarbHasTheBuyers.com. Go there and check it out. And we'll see all you guys next time. Thanks for watching the Craig Proctor Real Estate Show. Have a great day.
Thanks, Craig.
Thank you.